It's costing almost as much to repair as it did to build. $10 million is the cost to upgrade the Dwight York Stadium. This was disclosed by Assistant Secretary in the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport, Huey Cadet, at this week's Post-Executive Council media briefing.
It works as it relates to the Dwight York Stadium. The work at the Dwight York Stadium, we would have on previous occasions indicated that the Tobago House Assembly had been in serious discussion and in constant communication with the Ministry of Sport and the sports company with a view to ensuring that that the repairs to the Dwight York Stadium was given priority. Such was our proactive approach to addressing the issue, is that we had even committed to a sum of $10 million towards the repair of the Dwight York, Stadium. Of course, we were able to get the ministry to engage in the process of tendering, and a contractor was subsequently contracted to do the necessary work at the stadium. That work is now scheduled to begin on the 11th of December. Mobilization has already begun to take place. The scope of works that is to be involved include construction of perimeter drains, of new drainage around the track, installing of a new sub-base below the track, laying of a new track, a new field, playing surface for football, all of which is essentially a summary of the work that is to be taken. So I'll repeat that. Construction of new perimeter drains, new drainage around the track, installation of the sub-base, the surface below the track, and the installation of a new track, in addition to the laying of a new surface for the football field. Work to the superstructure, which is the stadium and the stands, is also to be undertaken, but that will take place in a separate contract and begin in the new year. The timelines for the completion of this work is March, and weather permitting, of course, is March 2013. Of course, we have recognized that this obviously will impact on our athletic season, and a meeting is scheduled to take place with key stakeholders in athletics next week. Essentially, of course, that meeting is one to address the issue of the alternative venues in the absence of the Dwight York Stadium in the early part of the season. But more importantly, as you would have been aware, this year we would have had a very successful athletics season in terms of Tobagonians, and we want to ensure that we can build on that success, whether it's at the primary school level, at the secondary school level, at the pre-elite level, which is Carifta, or at the elite level in terms of Kellyanne and the Reniers and the Seymours and what have you. So we want to ensure that we can build on the success. Next year is our World Games in Russia, and of course we also have Lalonde. So we really want to ensure that we can build on the success of this year at all the different levels. So that stakeholder meeting is a sense to determine the plan of action for the athletic season 2013, and of course to determine to identify alternative venues as it relates to activities that would have taken place at the Dwight York Stadium. The Department of Sport additionally would have engaged, and the division would have been engaged in and we have spoken to this before, a program of upgrading all the hard courts across the island. I'm pleased to announce that to date, hard courts that have been upgraded include Plymouth, Palatouvier, Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive School, the Signal Hill Community Hard Court, the hard court at Mason Hall, the hard court at Mount Pleasant, and the hard court at Calder Hall. Works are currently underway at Montgomery, Dusty Park, Wim. We have also installed lights at Patience Hill, because we would have opened Patience Hill hard court sometime last year, very early last year, and we would have recently installed lights to ensure that the courts are accessible to users even in the evening hours. What the essence of the work, or the scope of works involved at the upgrading of the hard courts, include repairs of fencing, upgrading of the light or installation of the lighting systems, installation of new posts in terms of fixtures in terms of the goal posts, and of course, more importantly, installation of a new surface a new acrylic surface that is a lot more attractive in terms of the look, but also is better in terms of the outdoor hard court. So those, as I said, is an indication of the work to date on our hard courts program. They will continue over the course of the coming weeks and into the new year until, of course, we have completely upgraded all the hard courts. This, of course, will also be followed up by a comprehensive program of activities and community coaching by the Department of Sport to ensure that the levels of utilization of the courts increases significantly, and at the end of the day, the investment in the courts and the infrastructure is married in terms of the increase in the development of the game and the participation of individuals in the game and the identification of talent and what have you. The last project that I'd like to provide an update on is, I shouldn't say the last, second last one I'd like to provide an update on is the pool at Kendall. We have turned the sod recently at the pool at Kendall. That is a joint initiative between the Tobago House Assembly and the YMCA. To date, the works that has been carried out include the complete clearing of the site. All the excavation has been done to the required level, and the removal of excess material has also been done. But more importantly, that the pouring has taken place, the concrete floor slabs have been put in place for both pools, both the main pool and the kiddies or learner pool. That work has also been completed to date. It is therefore projections over the coming weeks include well, additionally, we also have some block works have also taken place in terms of the perimeter walls. Over the coming weeks, we'll begin to see completion of the pool structure within the next month to month and a half, the completion of the necessary retaining walls, the substructures as it relates to the administrative and building and the facilities. Work will begin on that, and we should see by March 2013 the completion of majority of the major works as it relates to the pool. The contractor would have set a completion date of June 2013, and thus far they are well on course to ensure that timeline is met. We have learned from the elements of the plan at Corlan, and we have improved significantly the features at Kendall that allows, obviously, at the end of the day, for better use by the persons in the community, but allows, of course, the department and to expand our program of Learn to Swim and our school swim program and our adults program and our Keep Fit programs in terms of using aquatherapy and whatever. Some of those things that, of course, we would welcome the involvement of the Division of Health and Social Services. So again, we want to just provide an update on the progress of work at the Kendall pool that is being constructed at Argyle. We would have also, in previous press briefings, spoken about our lighting program, where at the end of where we had earmarked 13 fields to be lit all across the island. We would have, of course, seen that the lights at Roxborough should get the erection of the poles and the lights are up. We were working on commissioning those lights very shortly. But in terms of the other, I want to provide the other some updates on the other locations across the island. The poles are up with the lights on them, obviously, at Lambo, Moriah, and Calder Hall, Speyside, Shaw Park, Mount Grace, and Signal Hill. Those poles are to be erected between today and next week, Tuesday. Table Peace and Mount St. George is scheduled for the poles are scheduled for erection by next week Friday. In terms of Mason Hall, the trenching and the dock works have been completed, and we are waiting the poles. Because of the size of Mason Hall, we're using a different pole, so we're waiting the shipment of the supply of poles from TN-Tech to facilitate the erection of the poles at Mason Hall. Works at Montgomery and Mount Pleasant will begin later on in the month because of Mount Pleasant, we've had to do some redesigns because of the pavilion, and therefore and the plan for Mount Pleasant. So we have to do some adjustments in the location and the heights of the poles and the angles. So that adjustment we'll see beginning later on in December, and also at Montgomery to ensure that we have also done some reorientation. So works would begin at Montgomery and Mount Pleasant later on in December. Right. So those are some projects that the Department of Sport have been working on over the last couple of months that we wanted to provide some updates on. We also want to provide some updates on two activities that the Assembly and the Department of Sport and the Department of Tourism have provided support in terms of our Trust for Sport Development and Sports Tourism. The Carib International Sevens Tournament, rugby tournament, begins tomorrow, Friday, and goes on till Sunday the 9th at the Bon Accord, Kidam Bon Accord Recreational Grounds. We will see teams from right across the region and international teams participating. We have 6 Caribbean teams in participation, including Barbados, Guyana, Curacao, and Martinique. We have 3 international teams, Scotland, Canada, and the USA. We have 9 teams from Trinidad, and of course we have our very own Tobago Rugby Football Club who will be participating. We of course want to wish our own local boys all the best, and girls all the best in this weekend's tournament. There's both a men's and females division, and we're wishing our own local players all the best. We of course recognize that this tournament is a very significant one in the calendar, and we are very happy that that the second annual one is being hosted in Tobago. I shouldn't say the second annual, for the second time it's being hosted in Tobago. We know that the interest still remains in Trinidad and other places to be able to host this tournament, so we're happy that the organizers, Baxters and Carib, would have recognized that Tobago offers a particular significance in hosting programs of this nature. The other activity that I'd like to talk about is the Tobago Netball League. As one of the activities they would be hosting in celebration of their 50th anniversary is a invitational tournament that will see netballers from St. Vincent, Guyana, and Grenada up against a Tobago under-23 team.
Meanwhile, if you're looking for excellent service, visit the Scarborough General Hospital's outpatient clinic. This as they were recently awarded from the Ministry of Public Administration for excellence in service delivery.
For the Scarborough General Hospital outpatient department, through the Ministry of Public Administration Mystery Shopper Experience. So at this Public Service Achievement Gala Award ceremony that was held on the 5th of December, that was yesterday, they received these awards for excellence in service delivery. And so we want to congratulate the chairman of the board, the TRHA board, the board, the CEO, all members of staff, our administrator and her team, all members of staff of the Division of Health and Social Services for this award. As you know, the Scarborough General Hospital saw the opening of the first phase of the hospital on the 11th of April 2012. And the hospital's first portfolio was the provision of outpatient clinic services to existing and new patients. Approximately 19,700 patients were served to date at the medical, surgical, renal, obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, orthopedics, the dermatology, hematology, asthma, urology, rheumatology, child development, pre-operation, and cardiology clinics. And so through customer service surveys that were conducted, clients of the outpatient clinics have expressed their satisfaction with all members of staff, as well as the improved environment. On average, 95% of patients agreed that members of staff were courteous and respectful in welcoming them to the clinic, and over 95% of them expressed their approval of the improved physical environment. And so this customer-focused culture, this culture that we have been working on, and the staff have been working on in their reorientation, retooling, and there's several workshops. This focus is what we would want to build on for the system, the health sector in Tobago. And we see this as the foundation for continued care at the exceptional standards at the new Scarborough General Hospital. So again, I really want us in Tobago to really support the staff and the health sector in its hard work in delivering service to the people.
And with bated breath, the Assembly awaits the handing over of Scarborough General Hospital. However, they are a step closer as a team recently walked through the hospital in preparation for the handing over of documents from NIPDEC to the Ministry of Health.
We in the Tobago House of Assembly, we have been waiting for the handing over of the hospital, the Scarborough General Hospital. We also are aware of the process where the contractors would hand over to NIPDEC, who would hand over to the Ministry of Health, who would hand over to the Tobago House of Assembly, and then we hand over to the Tobago Regional Health Authority. And so on Tuesday last, that is Tuesday the 4th of December, a team walked through the hospital in preparation for handing over the transmittal document from NIPDEC to the Ministry of Health. And so a team of personnel from the Tobago House of Assembly, the administrator, the Ministry of Health and their representative, Dr. Rohit Doon, and NIPDEC's representative, Mr. Patrick Caesar. They walked through the hospital and eventually submitted this communication to the Ministry of Health. I just want to share some of the information with you. And this information is saying that NIPDEC of the Scarborough General Hospital is pleased to announce that we are able to hand over the 4 areas of the Scarborough General Hospital that were outstanding, namely, A, the wards, adult acute surgical, maternity, pediatrics, and adult acute medical. B, the accident and emergency department. C, theater suites. And D, the central sterilization unit. The central sterilization unit. Now, NIPDEC is saying in the case of the wards, the inclusion of the bedpan washer remain outstanding. All infrastructure work is in place, and these items are in Trinidad and are expected to be in Tobago within the next week. The wards, therefore, can be handed over. The accident and emergency section is completed and can be handed over. The theater suite is ready and can be handed over. In central sterilization unit, the soap barrels are outstanding. However, NIPDEC is informed that the barrels will be on site shortly, and in any event, the detergent can be fed directly from the containers. The CSSD, that is the Central Sterilization Unit, can be handed over. Final adjustment to the fire alarm system continue to be made, and please note that the contractor's defects liability period for civil building works end on December 15, 2012, and for mechanical medical equipment ends on May 31st, 2013. This document, therefore, represents the complete and the final handover of the Scarborough General Hospital to the Ministry of Health. And so while it states and the Division of Health and Social Services, we are aware that the Ministry of Health must now go to Cabinet for authority to vest the hospital to the Tobago House of Assembly. And it is then that the Tobago House of Assembly will hand over the Scarborough General Hospital to the Tobago Regional Health Authority. Nonetheless, we now have the authority to occupy the Scarborough General Hospital, and so as planned, we will start our occupation on the occupation of inpatients, because we have started occupation with our outpatients. So occupation of our inpatients would start as planned and as scheduled on the 15th of December. We are therefore working on our mock transfer, where we engage and involve TEMA and all the other stakeholders who would be part of this process, so that we can test all of our systems on the 10th of December, and to ensure that everything is in place for the 15th of December. I really want to take this time out to congratulate the contractors, to congratulate NIPDEC in terms of the kind of work that they have been working on, and more so the staff in the Division of Health and Social Services, and the board and members of staff of the Tobago Regional Health Authority. And so we plan a walkthrough for members of the media of the new facility, and this will be done in collaboration with the Tobago Regional Health Authority. And members of the media, you will be sent invitations on the date and time for this process. Yes? And so let me again take the time out to publicly commend our staff who have been waiting and preparing for this exciting moment for many years. It is very heartwarming to note that they have remained committed to their jobs despite minor inconveniences, and have told us that they are excited to make the move. It is instructive to note that the members of staff have been working in their areas in terms of pre-planning, creating the opportunity for familiarizing themselves with the operations and the new spaces, the ergonomics and so on. which they will occupy soon. So we want to again remind Tobago that this is a heritage project for us here in Tobago. And we are pleased that it is coming at this time, since our nation's youth, our Tobago youth, now have an enhanced opportunity for employment and also for wellness right here in Tobago. And we see this also as a transformative milestone in the history of medicine in Tobago.
As we are in the Christmas season, Secretary Groom Duke said a public cleanup will be held around the island. She also revealed her satisfaction with the work of the Social Services Unit in their response to 2 families whose homes were burnt down.
We've experienced 2 fires in Tobago which claimed to build 2 homes. We, of course, we really sympathize with the families and the pain that they are experiencing, and more so the loss of all of their belongings. I want to take this opportunity to commend the social services staff, so the administrator and the director of social services and members of staff and the community social workers and the therapeutic counselors for their quick response to the needs of these families. Very recently, the family at Bethlehem, they were able to provide them with housing immediately. And by 5 o'clock, they were in a house, as well as they were provided with foodstuff, $1,000 worth of foodstuff and support for clothing. Of course, the Division of Health and Social Services, we are responsible for the intervention in these situations, and we do that in collaboration with, and we coordinate with other stakeholders, including NGOs, CBOs, and faith-based organizations. So we are always very grateful for the support and contribution from our people here in Tobago as they give support to the Division of Health and Social Services as we respond to the needs of our people here in Tobago. This is very personal to me. I want to express my sincere thanks for the support I receive from the people of Tobago, the public generally from Tobago, at the loss of my daughter, and to let all of you know that I really, really appreciate the love and outpouring of support from all persons here in Tobago. I thank you, and it is your energy that is providing me with this kind of dynamism to continue to serve the people in Tobago and, of course, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another Tobago House of Assembly's post-executive media briefing for the week ending December 9th, 2012. I'm Davia Chambers for the Department of Information.